size advantage, puts the ball up, using her physicality as well, getting on the offensive glass, playing to the best offensive rebounding team in the W.
And Hillman completes the three-point play. They are #1 in offensive rebounding percentage. That was a real focus for Carl Smesko, feeling like that had to be a strength this year for Atlanta, and it has been. Here's Boston. Finds Mitchell off a great Clark screen, and Mitchell lays it in.
Really well executed play to understand that the defender was ready for the screen and back cut baseline instead. Wide open Kelsey Mitchell.
Mitchell has been so efficient against Atlanta this year as Hillman starts it off with the first 6 for the Dream.
It's still remarkable to me, the improvement for Naz Hillman in her three-point shooting over the course of the last 2 seasons. She's made it a point of emphasis to get better, and now we've seen her score inside and out.
Here's Mitchell circling, dishing. Boston, she got it. That is part of the game now for Aaliyah Boston.
Averaged less than 1 three-point attempt a season ago. This year at 2.5, shooting over 40% from 3.
And she's 1 3 away from matching her career total prior to this year as Reese gets called for the travel. For Boston, her first 3 seasons, she had 17 total threes. That was just her 16th already here in 2026.
Nice defensive possession. You saw Indiana sending a second defender to Angel Reese when she got the ball on the block.
A beautiful dish from Clark, and Billings is fouled, and Mo Billings is going to shoot a pair.
Two-man game, and it's so good with Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark, but you can get it with Billings as well. Here she's cutting inside. Caitlin delivering, so tough delivering the ball in tight spaces.
One of the things Stephanie White was talking to us about before the game was feeling like they have to be a better cutting team. They have good cutters. She feels like the passes haven't quite been on time to their cutters, and that has to be an essential part of their offense moving forward.
You know, sometimes she said they come 1 or 2 dribbles too late. That one was neither 1 nor 2 dribbles too late. That was right on the money.
And Monique Billings hits both free throws. A 7-6 Indiana lead. Here's Hillman, has all 6 Dream points. Here's Gray. Got hooked from behind by Mitchell, took her to the turf. And early personal on Kelsey Mitchell. Alicia Gray last year, first team All-W. And this year, the on-off numbers for her are jarring. Atlanta is 24.5 points per 100 possessions better with her on the floor than off.
Carl Smesko has talked about Gray being an even more improved defender this season as well.
Hillman again! Naz Hillman with the first 9 Atlanta points. Clark thought about pulling, will dish instead. Here's Hull shoveling in the corner. Billings hits from 3. That feels kind of essential for Indiana to have Billings willing to take that shot, never mind make it.
Changes their spacing. She came into this game 3 of 12 from 3.
Howard buries, and it feels like a repeat of the other night with both offenses hot. Here's Clark. Clark sidestepping 3 is good. Right over Reese from way downtown. Now Gray can answer. Reese on the offensive glass got hooked. Angel Reese, a historically great offensive rebounder, draws the foul there.
Both of these teams wanting to play with pace, and of course for Indiana, when the ball is in Caitlin Clark's hands and she's coming down in transition, especially when she's going to her left side with a little fade, that's her spot. Gets it to go down with Angel Reese trying to contest.
Clark, 4th in the league in scoring, 2nd in the league in assists, trailing only Alyssa Thomas. Here is Howard, got there. And a foul called on Indiana.
The previous 2 possessions for Atlanta have been great examples of Ryan Howard and her growth. 2 possessions ago, she took a couple dribbles, then made the right pass to Hillman. Last possession, she came off and was able to hit the shot. She has been a very good decision maker offensively this season.
And Carl Smesko was talking to us about that earlier today. Said she asked She had a conversation with Carl about where she needed to improve most. She said her efficiency. As Clark tried to thread the needle, could not, but it'll stay here. And he said, all right, let's get to work on your efficiency then. Ryan did, and he said her growth with not forcing it has just been incredible, the way she's trusted her teammates. Called her one of the smartest players in the WNBA.
Said she can go for 35 points, but also when the defense is loading up on her, she's willing to pass.
Clark takes the three on the drive, able to lay it in. Gorgeous take from Caitlin Clark through the body.
Ooh, that was a nasty hesitation dribble on that drive.
Ray beats the defense down the floor for two. Clark with 5 points in the early going and gets fouled there by Canada. And then Caitlin and Angel with a little something to say to each other in the aftermath of that.
Of course, you have to defend Caitlin on the perimeter because of her ability. Just there, the little hesitation, cradles the ball, finishes it inside. It's a tough finish.
Looked like could have been an and one as well on the contact after the gather. Clark, catch, fire, you bet! Caitlin Clark, hot early, has 8 points in the first 3.5 minutes.
Last possession, Ryan Howard lost a shoe as she was trying to get out to Clark.
Here's Angel Reese bodying in and a soft touch. Reese coming off a huge game on Thursday. Indiana, meanwhile, 6 of 6 from the floor. Good cut from Billings, who lays it in on a gorgeous delivery from Boston.
Atlanta double-teamed Aaliyah Boston on that possession. They did not do that a lot in the game the other night, and she read it beautifully. Billings cut, Boston found her.
Here's Gray. Gray surging into the paint. The foul is good. Looked like Gray got fouled initially by Clark, but no call, and Gray puts home the putback. Ooh, Canada just gave a forearm to Kelsey Mitchell, and that is going to be the second foul on Jordan Canada.
Angel Reese getting the ball inside, using footwork and strength. She is so good at creating space just by leaning, using her body so that she can get the ball up on the rim.
One of 3 players averaging a double-double. Clark launches and connects. She's on a first quarter burner. 3 of 3 from downtown in the CC1s. Her second game wearing her signature shoe. Here's Hillman. Barging inside, couldn't get it to go. Reese keeps it alive. Another chance for Atlanta. And Hillman lays it in. That's again because of the activity of Reese on the offensive glass.
The entire team has really gotten to the offensive glass and gotten those extra opportunities as a result.
Clark has to switch on Reese. Launches it and hits. But it was a timeout on the floor thanks to the foul before the launch. Caitlin Clark is locked in early.
It's on the glass continues in her first year in Atlanta, but it took the Barbie some time to get acclimated to her dream home. And it's because of going back to that home opener. She said it was one of the most disappointing games in her career, where going to that game against the Las Vegas Ace, it singled points and rebounds while also adding 8 turnovers. She said over those 3 days that she really had to sit with the staff and Carl Smesco and talk about her efficiency. She also had a chat with Teresa Weatherspoon, who gave her this piece of advice: slow down. She said, now over the last few games, I'm more poised. I'm assessing the defense. I'm realizing my footwork, trying to get to different spots on the floor. Since that game, she's improved in every single category on the floor, including shooting 50% from the floor.
Excellent stuff, Angel. And Carl Smesco was so complimentary of Angel, said, you know, not only has she been great, but she's been getting better and better, and he feels like there's still so much room for her to grow. Said she has loved being here in Atlanta, and how competitive she is has been great for the group as well. Canada bodies in. Good D that time from Clark.
Last possession was Indiana's first turnover, dead ball turnover. That was a real issue for them. 20 points Atlanta had off Indiana turnovers last game.
Here's Boston. Indiana yet to miss in this game. Boston turns it over there. Here's Canada. Weaving, dishing, Howard connects.
And this is where Atlanta thrives, when they can turn you over, when they can get steals, push pace going the other direction.
Clark launching again, missed that one. Her first miss of the day. And there they go, off the rebound. Held it as 13. And Atlanta jumps back in front in what has been an electrifying opening quarter here at State Farm Arena. Mitchell, the catch, couldn't finish it on the delivery from Boston. Reese with haste up the floor. Reese turning on the burner, spinning, couldn't finish it. Hines Allen there for the contest. Here comes Mitchell. Mitchell dashing into the paint, got hugged. Ooh, and then it looked like Mitchell gave something to Howard afterwards. So they call a defensive foul on Howard, but now they're going to take a look at the contact from Mitchell afterwards, as it looked like she extended her right hand into Howard following the foul. So there's the foul on Howard, but then watch Mitchell with the right hand coming down on Howard afterwards. And so they will take a look at that.
For a possible hostile act after the whistle.
Dream Power and Sam Ryan Howard, her first season on the limit. The following play is being reviewed for potential hostile act.
Kelsey Mitchell's momentum going forward, and I think that's why the hand came down, but certainly as a result, she swipes Howard in the face with that right hand.
All right, we have our rules analyst on the W this season, Lauren Holtkamp.
One, play will resume off of the free throws.
Well, I mean, Roy Gobain gave us no time at all there to adjudicate ourselves, Lauren. But do you feel like that's the right thing to come back with here? The defensive foul, obviously, first, which wasn't going to change, but then the T being added.
Yeah, Ryan, I see this play the exact way that Roy just described it. We've got the defensive foul for the wrap, and she is off balance, but you see that right hand extend and almost just a second act of a flail that contacts the defender in the face, and I agree with the technical foul here.
All right, thank you very much, Lauren. Appreciate that. Do you think, has Roy been listening to people talking about how long the reviews have been?
That was like, I loved it. That was the quickest review, I think, maybe ever.
Maybe ever. We'll sign up for more of those.
Yeah.
I mean, I want Lauren to have her time.
Right, but holy cow, that was fast.
Howard hits the free throw. And Mitchell the T. Atlanta, meanwhile, on an 8-0 run. Chance for that to end here for Indiana with Mitchell at the line.
Fever had made their first 8 shots, hadn't turned the basketball over, and then after the timeout, things changed a little bit. A couple turnovers in a row, a couple misses in a row.
Billings had gone to the bench. Hines Allen had come in as Mitchell hits the free throw. How about Kelsey Mitchell's numbers this season against Atlanta? Now you see her 21.1 points per third in the league in scoring. But against Atlanta, 25.5 points per game on 70% from the floor. Carl Smesco told us he feels like at times he's just hitting really difficult shots.
This game so far, she has gotten good looks off and off of that baseline back cut.
Here's Pow, lost it. Clark on the steal. Eyes up in transition. Clark with 11 in the quarter. And a kickball is going to keep things here. Clark's season high for points in a first quarter. She's 3 of 4 from downtown. Hit her first 3. She also hit about a 35-footer right after the Reese did count. Reese back in. As Hillman, who's had a brilliant opening quarter, 13 points, goes to the bench. Mitchell dancing, dishing. Hines Allen open, connects. 2 instances of found money for Indiana. First with Billings in the right corner, and now Hines Allen in the left. As Howard flings it off the back iron. Clark using the screen from Hines Allen. Clark draws 2. Finds the cutter. It's Boston center of the lane for the soft finish. And the foul. Aaliyah Boston a chance for 3.
We saw Aaliyah Boston just do what we saw Angel Reese do earlier, and that's create space just using her strength in her upper body. Once she catches the ball inside, one dribble, boom. Just a little bit extra space so she can get the shot up, get the opportunity for the 3-point play.
Leah Boston doing this in front of her college coach, Dawn Staley, just a few seats to her right. Came over, had a great chat with her and Lisa Boyer, her outstanding associate head coach. Fever on an 8-0 run over the last minute. Raven Johnson, another South Carolina star, just into the game. Miss Gray tosses it in with a hand in her face. Speaking of South Carolina.
Another one. Okot, another one.
Clark kicks it out. Hines Allen trying to get it back to Clark, could not. Okot, a terrific defensive play. Gray couldn't handle it. Here's Canada dumping it into Okot, the rookie. And a foul called on Allen before the shot, but in the bonus regardless. So free throws for Medina Okot.
Okot's had some really nice moments this season, and Carl Smesko has raved about her at times as well, and how she is just scratching the surface of the type of player that she can become.
Taking a look at the upcoming WNBA national TV schedule. Here on ABC, we have another game coming up next. It'll be Seattle and Phoenix at 3 Eastern. Tonight on CBS, Chicago, Dallas at 8. Tomorrow, full afternoon of games. Starting on CBS, Golden State and Vegas at 4, NBA TV, Washington and Minnesota at 6, and then cap the night on ESPN, our first Women's Sports Sunday. It's New York and LA at 8, 30th anniversary game as we honor this league. For more on these games, go to WNBA.com or visit the WNBA app. Clark on the drive, skates free to lay it in.
How beautifully did she navigate that? She got Jordan Canada on her hip and then just kept her there so that she could get the easy look at the leg.
13 in the quarter for Clark. Lays gets denied. Okot gives another chance to Atlanta. They're so good on the offensive glass, and a foul on Cunningham to put Okot back at the line.
Let's go back to that last play with Caitlin Clark. Comes down here. She just gets Canada on her hip. A little push off at the end as well, but keeps her there. Once you get the defender where you want him, it's not about the quickness anymore. It's about keeping them behind you. Caitlin did that beautifully.
Clark with 13 in the quarter. Her career high for a first quarter is 14. This is the most points Indiana has scored in a first quarter or in any quarter this season. They are shooting 84.5% from the floor. Meanwhile, Atlanta has taken 7 more field goal attempts because they crash that glass and they turn you over. That's Carl Smesko's whole philosophy with the team this year.
It's the possessions game.
Yes.
Atlanta's opponents shoot a better field goal percentage, free throw percentage, and it doesn't matter for the most part because Atlanta gets so many more field goal opportunities.
Here's Clark giving it up. Hines Allen on the attack. Hines Allen gets fouled and will go to the line to shoot 2. Atlanta with a season high 30 points in this first. Hines Allen at the line. These teams meeting for a third time already this season. They have split the first 2 as Hillman checks back in. Hillman with 13 points, 5 of 7 from the floor. And Hines Allen hits them both. Under a minute to go in this first. Oh, Canada split the D. Billings caught her on the trip. And that's going to be 2 free throws for Billings.
You don't know why I'm smiling?
I don't.
You said, oh, Canada.
You know what? I did say that.
You did.
I wish I could
Wasn't intentional, I'm
claim
guessing.
credit for that. But in this case, there was no linguistic intention.
I mean, with the World Cup going on,
Yeah.
I think we're all just feeling
Absolutely. Hey,
welcoming to all nations.
I literally this morning was listening to Mark Carney's speech in the Canadian locker room after the Team Canada win, too. It's terrific. He is an orator, a generational orator.
An orator for the ages?
Mark Carney, yes. Canada misses both. both, but look at Reese keeping it alive. However, it's going to be a backcourt violation.
How did you not say, oh, Canada?
Do you want to do play-by-play?
No, I'm just, I'm waiting for certain moments.
And I'm not delivering?
Normally you deliver for me.
I'll try and do better, okay? Raven Johnson, a local kid, Westlake High School. Here's Hines Allen handing it off. Clark draws two, tries to whip it back. Cunningham collects, dumps it in. Hines Allen, the flip is good. 37 in the quarter for Indiana, about a 4-second difference game in shot clock. Indiana is 12 of 14 from the floor. Hillman into Reese, deep catch, using the strength, couldn't finish. Clark with 5 seconds has it kicked over here. And 4.4 left to operate for Indiana.
Atlanta's been really good at thwarting Caitlin Clark, you know, threading the needle with their feet. It's been effective.
Kick save and a beauty. Here's Clark, the dish, Cunningham. And that is... Here's Boston. Boston on the drive, an assertive take. Lays it in with a left hand.
Leah Boston is assessing what was happening on the right side of the floor with screening action and then realized she had that lane to take it herself.
8 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists for Boston. Reese, great dig there from Johnson, timed it perfectly.
Raven Johnson read that. She saw that Reese was rolling to the basket, that Boston was on the high side, and she came over for terrific help. Ooh, big little jump ball, one of my favorite things.
Little SEC battle here.
There's the big, and then on the right side, there's the little.
Got LSU, South Carolina.
Think Raven will violate here.
I think she's going to try and win it.
Oh, you think?
Yeah,
There they are.
Coach Staley and Coach Boyer catching the action. Good look from Reese. Now Gray connects. Alicia Gray, 9 points. It's 4 of 6 from the floor. She's continued to build off of a career season last year, averaging a career high 19.5 points per game this season. Here's Mitchell, finds Boston. Boston left alone, can't finish, keeps it alive. But an over-the-back call, now will be number 2 on Boston, who immediately looks to the bench to say, challenge that.
It looked like Leah Boston was surprised how wide open she was and that she was initially looking to pass and then realized. She catches.
Oh, they call that.
Oh.
They call that foul on Billings, and it's Billings' third. I don't think it was a foul on either of them.
Yeah.
Indiana does not challenge. Howard can't finish. Johnson quickly up the floor. Mitchell wheels back. Will fire. Can't hit. Cunningham. The offensive rebound swiped away by Hillman. Here comes Gray. Finds Reese. Reese unable to finish. Billings has it taken away by Hillman again. Twice in the span of 20 seconds. Naz Hillman just snatching it away from Indiana.
Atlanta is simply relentless on the glass, in particular on the offensive glass. 6 offensive rebounds already here today. Of course, Angel Reese is going to get there. Naz Hillman as well. Yeah, and if they can't corral it themselves, they've been really active in just keeping it alive for a teammate.
And now, Indiana is going to challenge
Indiana
this.
is calling
Would have
the
been number
timeout to
2.
challenge the ruling on the floor.
Would have been number 2 on Sophie Cunningham. And the Fever are going to challenge. All right, there you go. So a successful challenge for the Fever. They'll have 1 remaining. Even though there was some contact on the arm, as we saw in that replay, it was deemed marginal. So not enough to warrant a foul. A successful challenge for the Fever. Now, I thought it was interesting. We were asking Steph White before the game whether or not she considers this being a home game for Raven Johnson when it comes to playing time. And she said, well, one thing you do consider is players are usually excited when they're playing at home. So I want to get her in there early, see how she does. So far, Ravens responded with some good minutes after she played just 3 the other day against Atlanta.
Yeah, especially on the defensive end of the floor. She has seemed very focused. She's been good in her help side defense. That's where you have to get it started. And if you have any nerves, get rid of them by playing well and solid defensively.
Boston hands it off. Mitchell, the hesitation, and pops it in. She gets downhill with that left hand. It's good night. Indiana shooting 74% from the floor. Here's Hillman. Hillman has 13. Gray across her body, back iron and off. Cunningham secures the rebound. Mitchell off the handoff, gets fouled by Howard, and now Clark will check back into the game after that electrifying opening quarter. Hit 3 straight threes and add 13 points in the frame. And one other thing we saw with Clark was she played the entire first. And as she's ramped up here, she's gotten longer runways, which has always helped her play more effectively.
And the way she shot in the first quarter helped build that longer runway as well.
That's right. Oh, Mitchell, dynamic step back, but rims out. Here's Howard left alone, will take. Can't hit. Clark flies in for the rebound. Clark lobbing it in, and a foul called on Howard, as Ryan Howard will pick up her 3rd. So that is a key foul for Atlanta to monitor, and now Carl Semesco, you would think, is going to have to take out Howard, as he will.
Tough defensive assignment for Ryan Howard. Gets down the floor. Leah Boston had run the floor. She's just trying to get around and see if she can prevent the ball from going inside. Gets wrapped up, but that's one of those fouls. It's just unlucky.
So she departs. Mitchell gives it up. Hines Allen bodying into Reese. Gets fouled by Reese. And that'll be number 2 on Angel Reese.
Angel Reese typically very good with the poke when she's behind the defender, or when she's the defender behind, and they're dribbling. She can use her long arms and try to get the ball away, but called for the foul there.
Gray doing a great job fronting Clark. Here's Mitchell. Oh my! You bet! Kelsey Mitchell with the ankle breaker. And Clark gets called for her first personal on the other end.
Mitchell, on the way she can dance with the basketball, that time behind her back. Pow goes down, and Mitchell with a beautiful shot and drain. Oof.
11-point, Indiana lead. Pow, no. Reese, yes! And the foul. Angel Reese with a chance for 3, and that'll be number 2 on Boston.
Relentless. It's just relentless. And look at her go in there and get the board, put it up without coming back down, finishing. The officials
Previous play is under review for possible hostile act during the dead ball.
As Boston took a shot to the face.
But to me, there's not a flail or anything from Reese on that. It's just her natural shooting motion and the way her arms are when she comes down. Unfortunate for Boston, but I'll be stunned if they come back with something on Reese.
Well, Lauren's had a lot of looks early in this game. Good to bring in our rules analyst, Lauren Holtkamp-Sterling. We'll take one more look here. The defensive foul was called on Boston, and then takes the shot to the face.
Yeah, on this play, Ryan, I just see normal shooting motion. I don't see a flail.
After review, the contact initiated by Reese is a normal basketball play. There is no further penalty.
All right.
Yeah.
Lauren's 2 for 2 today.
Yeah.
There we go.
Or Roy's 2 for 2, however you want to look at it.
You know what? I think officials take enough guff. We can give them both credit.
Yeah. We're 2 for 2.
That's right.
I mean, what goes up must come down, and
That's
that
right.
includes Angel Reese's elbow when she's shooting and
Right.
then landing on the floor.
So Reese will go to the line. Well, it's that time of year again. Make sure your voice is heard for this year's WNBA All-Star voting presented by Ally. Scan the QR code on your screen now to vote for the WNBA All-Star starters.
Some surprising early returns on that, for sure. I don't think the final fan ballot will come back with the same exact order that we saw from the first return. What about you?
I think you're probably right about that. All-Star in Chicago this year, where it was a few years ago, and we just had an absolute blast.
So much fun.
Terrific host city for it. As Reese completes the three-point play.
Defense.
8-point Indiana lead. Fever shooting 71%. Clark fires, can't hit. Long rebound, Orleans. Gray dishes, Hillman, not that time. Another offensive rebound for Atlanta. Clark gets called for the foul, and that's going to be number 2 on Caitlin Clark. She got into foul trouble last meeting against Atlanta.
Yeah, she's just trying to go and attack the basketball. Absolutely a foul. Man, Atlanta, especially in including their guards getting to the offensive glass on some of those long 3 boards.
Well, Clark has to be foul trouble really thwarted her last game. Reese can't finish over Clark there. Played it wisely. Here's Clark. Has it taken away, trying to get it back, and a jump ball is called.
Good hands by Jordan Canada there as Caitlin was dribbling to the left side, just able to poke and pounce. See it here as Caitlin's driving down the left side. Yeah, just swipe down and then get on the floor for the ball.
And that is something that Carl Smesko really emphasized this year for his team. He said, we were good last year defensively, but didn't feel like they took enough chances. Just when it came to activity, forcing turnovers is Clark.
Really interesting small lineup here now for Atlanta.
Canada wins the jump over Clark. Howard, what a Euro! Draws the foul against Hull. And Ryan Howard will go to the line. That's going to be number 2 on Hull.
Ryan Howard played so much time at the point guard a season ago. Can handle that time, takes it right at Hull. Where was the foul?
Maybe a touch on the body on the drive, but no doubt this crew has been whistle happy so far today. We saw that the other night in the game between these teams too. There was 53 total fouls.
I mean, overall, I do like how the officials are calling the game
This season
entire
collectively,
season.
yeah.
Yes, but you're saying in this game in particular, you prefer them to be a little more whistle sad.
As Howard hits both free throws, I think there's been times when there's been some touch things called that it's contact, but it's marginal enough you probably can let it go.
Yeah.
Hines Allen looking for Hull on the handoff. Off to Clark. Clark looking in. Gets it to Hines Allen. Creeping down. Hines Allen can't finish it. Orleans off the rebound. The 21-year-old on the move will lay it in. Plus the foul. And a chance for 3 as Hines Allen is whistled for the personal.
This game has been fast, and it might only get faster. Indiana now with their small lineup as well. And you just see what Atlanta loves to do.
We have it statistically in the 26 minutes that Indiana has played with Sophie Cunningham at the 4. They're a plus 14, and they've shot it 61% from 3.
Certainly better spacing on the floor.
Clark drives in, reverses it home, plus the foul. And a chance for 3 for CC.
Caitlin Clark just feels and looks so comfortable out on the floor today. We've seen her score a variety of ways. This one's new. Going to the other side of the rim with a little spin on the basketball.
15 points, 6 of 8 shooting for Clark.
Boston wearing a mask now.
One thing Clark has done is miss some free throws lately. Playing with 2 fouls. Howard buries the 3. Howard back out there despite having 3 fouls herself. A lot of key players in foul trouble. Clark separates. We're going to take Borlase. Dribbled it off. Borlase's foot out of bounds. It'll stay with Indiana.
Ryan Howard here just picks up. This is tough. Picking the ball up off the floor. Defenders right there, knocking it down.
I thought it hit Clark's foot, and now I think that's what Atlanta is seeing, and they're going to challenge. And we haven't seen a replay yet, but based on the conviction of the bench, I'm just going to guess the replay is going to show us it clearly hit Caitlin Clark's foot.
We got a lot of replays, though. Maybe not
Atlanta
this
is
particular
calling a
play.
timeout to challenge the ruling on the floor.
I mean reviews, like official reviews.
Yeah.
Here we go.
And going, yep, clearly off the CC1.
By the way, in person, that shoe
Yeah.
is even prettier than it is when you see just like still photos online.
It almost shimmers.
Yeah,
It truly has like it has a shine to it. Clearly, this is going to be a successful challenge for Atlanta. No, I was asking Caitlin about the CC1, and I said, you know, what would you want people to know? And she said that we have a lot of colorways coming. And I've seen a lot of them. They're pretty awesome.
Are they?
Yes.
I've only seen the blue, and I like it.
This is clearly going to be a successful challenge for Atlanta as it hit Caitlin Clark's foot, went out of bounds.
Upon review, there's clear and conclusive evidence that the ball last hits Caitlin Clark prior to going out of bounds. This is a successful challenge by Atlanta. They're getting their timeout back and the ability to challenge subsequent plays.
You know, one huge advantage for Atlanta in this game, an 11-0 edge in second chance points. It's what Atlanta does. First in offensive rebounding percentage, their third and second chance points. And they win the challenge here and will have possession. Let's check in now with Naz Hillman joining us from the bench. All right, Naz, 13 first quarter points today. What'd you have working in that opening frame?
Just finding my spots. They've been helping out me a little bit, so I've been able to get open threes and then just being more aggressive, seeing what the defense is giving me and just attacking it.
You've been absolutely relentless, you and your team on the offensive glass. What is your mentality when a shot goes up?
We just have to get in there. Sometimes other teams go in there and they don't grab the ball with 2 hands, so having the opportunity to go in there and snatch it from them. Just being aggressive. I think sometimes teams don't box out, so you go in there and you take your opportunities, and then if not, you get back on defense.
Naz, this is another incredibly competitive game between you and the Fever. How would you just describe the matchup between these two teams, especially after the 3-game series you all had in the playoffs last year?
Yeah, I think this is 2 teams who are heavy hitters offensively, and I mean we want to get the ball in the basket, so it's really going to come down to who can get the stops in the most crucial moments.
Naz, always a joy to watch you play. Continued success. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
We loved watching Naz at Michigan, and she has really blossomed here as her career has gone on in Atlanta. Mitchell connects on the 3. 5 straight from Kelsey Mitchell, and the Fever have stabilized things after the 11-2 Atlanta run. The layup is good from Reese, plus the foul, and that'll be number 2 on Mitchell.
Jordan Canada handled that switch beautifully because Aaliyah Boston came over, walled up, didn't allow Canada to get a shot up. Patience, pivot, and then she found the big girl with a small honor, and as a result, Angel Reese with the opportunity for the and 1. But credit Canada and her patience there.
Rebecca, I think Angel Reese actually became an underrated player in this league because there was so much focus on deficiencies of her game. I think the incredible strengths of her game at times have not been properly highlighted. She is relentless around the rim, and there's just such a value to that. And I think Atlanta really sees and highlights her strengths, and it's been a good fit, especially over the last couple of weeks, as Boston can't quite finish it.
Angel Reese is tracking to be the best rebounder on...
Oh, yes, yes!
The best rebounder defensively and offensively in the history of the WNBA.
Clark finds Boston, and it poked from behind. Our home and native land. Canada on the deflection.
Coming the other way in transition. The pitch back to Pow Pow. She's able to drain it. How good has Atlanta been when they've been able to force the pace?
And now Boston gets called for the illegal screen, and that is going to be number 3 on Aaliyah Boston.
I'm a little bit fascinated by the Aaliyah Boston mask. Like, how many extra masks do teams travel with just in case? Variety of sizes, I don't know.
You know what, Angel, do you have that answer for us? All right, thank you, Angel. Next up, can we find out how many masks they travel?
Like, is it one size fits all?
Howard missed it badly, deflects to Johnson. Small ball lineup remains in for Indiana. Boston at the 5, Cunningham at the 4. Here's Mitchell. Mitchell started to cook here in the second. Boston will fire. Can't hit that one. And Canada secures the rebound. Borlase travels. Good job by Cunningham coming up to force the travel.
And all she did was get in the line of vision of Borlase. Borlase felt her, and she got the happy feet as a result. Smart decision by Cunningham.
You know, what's interesting is part of the reason that there's been a curiosity around Indiana playing small is because Billings and Hines Allen aren't three-point shooters. But both of them actually have hit corner threes here today.
It's equally important for them to have the willingness to take them.
Clark draws 2, finds Cunningham. Her 3 is good. Cunningham has been on a tear over the last few games. Entered this game shooting 70% from 3, 78% from 3 over the last 3 games. Clark on the drive, kicks it out. Johnson connects on the 3, Westlake zone. Just a great rhythm from both of these teams in this first half. Highly entertaining game. Howard gives it up. Canada, Borlase attacks, dishes, Pow Pow again. Clark hands it off. Mitchell gives it up. And a foul on Borlase will put Cunningham at the line.
How about Dawn Staley has players playing for both teams? Raven hits a shot down this end, she stands up and cheers. Pow Pow hits one on the other and she stands up and cheers. It doesn't matter who wins the game. She just wants her South Carolina Gamecocks to play out.
When she came over pregame to give us a big hug, she said, you know, I got 7 in this game. 7. Coming up on the Ally WNBA halftime, Caitlin Clark lighting up Atlanta. Monica, Hannah, Drea, and Chanae. Hey, congrats to Monica McNutt, who did a brilliant job documenting the Knicks run. Her partner, Tyler Murray's fantastic. The way they both used the precise words to capture the emotion and the magnitude of the moment throughout the entire run was a masterclass. And congrats to Monica, who's also just as good a teammate as you'll ever find. Canada dishes, Hillman lays it in. Clark gives it up. Mitchell going downhill, can't scoop it in. Reese with Atlanta in transition. Howard in the corner, can't hit the 3. Rebound out of bounds, gonna stay here. And again, it's Reese making a difference on the offensive glass. There were 3 fever players there, but Reese's activity keeps it alive.
Her ability to facilitate the initial play and transition, make the right pass out to Howard.
And Reese 1 rebound away from 1,000 for her career as Hines Allen just trucked Reese. And she'll slip on her signature Reeboks and go to the line after the foul on Hines Allen.
And the way basketball shoes have changed. Like, in my era, like, you tied them up tight. There was no way you were coming out of your basketball shoe without, like, unlacing it, untying it.
Someone get a T here as well? I mean, they must have. Oh, they're going to call it an away from the play foul. It was pre-inbound. Yes, of course. It was prior to the inbound, so Howard, you could choose any shooter to take the free throw. So Atlanta chooses Howard.
Did you ever walk out of your basketball sneakers while you were playing, or were they tightened up?
No, they were tight.
Yeah.
That's going to be a backcourt violation. No contact from Johnson. And I think for Indiana, what we've seen with their small ball lineup was partly what Stephanie White has assessed and feared. Certainly can score, but some troubles defensively and on the glass.
Well, they've been having troubles on the glass all game long. Doesn't matter the lineup.
Great point. Mitchell on the scoop gets the whistle. Now Alicia Gray says, me?
Chelsea Mitchell, just the low dribble, shoulder shake, going to her left side, holding Gray off. I can understand a little bit of the frustration for Gray there.
Didn't look like a lot at all, but today, that has been both sides the way it's been called.
It's been a happy whistle, Ryan Rucco.
Right. As Mitchell hits the free throw. Boston on the bench with 3 fouls. Billings on the bench with 3. Hines Allen has 3. Howard has 3. Clark has 2. Mitchell has 2. As Mitchell now up to 17 points. She's had a huge second quarter. 14 in the second for Kelsey Mitchell.
Oh, look at this overload, the space on the right side for Howard.
Howard puts it up, can't hit. Hines Allen the rebound, gets it off to Clark, 6 seconds. Clark to the corner, Johnson a 3, can't hit. And they have dominated the offensive glass. Third meeting of the season between these teams. Here's Clark, snaking it into Boston. And out of bounds, off of Boston. Let's check in with Angel Gray.
Well, that defensive series is what Carl Smesko is challenging his team to be better in. He said he did not like the fact that there was not a lot of communication on that side of the floor in the first half. He said ABC defense is what he's challenging them to do, more help and making sure that everyone's communicating on the perimeter to continue to defend the 3.
All right, thank you very much, Angel. Slide it in, Billings draws 2. Mitchell a good look from 3. That one won't go. And the rebound dug up by Canada. Gray with a lot of space. Can't hit. Clark the rebound. Clark draws Hillman, backs away, shakes, drives, and lays it in. Boy, her hesitations have been terrific today.
Navigated that switch really, really well.
Stephanie White was emphasizing that to us before the game, how good Caitlin's been getting to the rim this year and wants even more of it from her. As Billings gets called for the foul, and that will be her 4th.
You see Atlanta switching with Naz Hillman out on Caitlin, and she just gets by, bounces through, like pinballs it off of Naz Hillman here. One more step, finish inside. But yeah, she's really done a phenomenal job all season long getting to the paint.
Stephanie White, Caitlin Clark talking through it.
Ryan Rucco eating Manuka honey.
Yeah. Figured you could handle the free throws.
I got him.
Thanks. Really sticky though. Canada knocks down both free throws. Clark off to Boston, gets it back. Hands it back to Boston. Mitchell using the screen. And they're going to call that on Boston, and that will be her fourth. So now you got real issues if you are Indiana. You have 4 on Billings and 4 on Boston.
The re-screen with Boston here as she's coming. Maybe a little lean with the right hip.
A real little lean.
Real little lean.
Indiana has used 1 challenge successfully thus far. Boston goes to the bench. Now will the Fever handle these minutes without Boston? Here's Gray fading, can't hit. And that's going to be an offensive foul, a loose ball foul on Angel Reese.
Phenomenal box out by Myisha Hines-Allen. I mean, that's what you have to do against Angel Reese because she's so good getting to the offensive glass. Look at Hines-Allen just holding her ground. She is such a strong post player, Hines-Allen, and she's able to hold her ground. Angel Reese can push a lot of different players in the league under the rim.
Clark separates, step back, and buries it. 8 of 10 from the floor for Caitlin Clark. She has 19. Howard gets fouled. That'll be on Hull, and that will be number 3 on Lexi Hull.
Caitlin Clark just dribble, step back, going to her left. Ryan Howard right there, but not quite close enough. I don't know what more Hull could have done on that drive there. She had her arms straight up. She was, I felt like, retreating, holding off her defensive positioning.
Howard hits the first. Atlanta 108-101 win on Thursday against Indiana. And these teams, another high-scoring game here today. 3rd meeting of the season. They've split the first 2. A reminder, first game of our doubleheader on ABC. Seattle Phoenix up next. And tomorrow night, 30th anniversary game, New York and LA. The Liberty and the Sparks. Billings gives it up. Oh, flags it down. Clark coming back to it. Circling, dishing, Hines-Allen hitting on the jumper. Hines-Allen has been productive offensively. As Hillman gets loose and finishes.
Hillman kind of sneaked behind, but put both hands up so her teammate could see her open in the lane.
Clark wiggling, harassed by Canada. The player, not the country. Oh, couldn't grab it. Just a little too far out in front of her from Hines-Allen. Reese in transition, lays it in. Angel Reese in double figures. Clark launches short. Hull battling for the rebound, and it's going to stay right here as Hull's effort helps force the foul against Atlanta.
We've seen Angel Reese a couple times in this game facilitating once she corrals a board, going the other way. In the first half, we saw her then pass it out. This time she comes right down, eye on the rim, finishes, goes back the other way.
Hillman with 17 points is tied a season high. She is 4 off her career high. Angel Reese 1 rebound away from the 1,000th of her career. Timpsonian has not gotten much run today after she was great the other day. Hines-Allen did not take that 3. Shot clock fading now. Clark gets some space, rips it out, and Mitchell couldn't handle it. Clark probably would have been better suited to shoot with that late in the shot clock.
Hines-Allen should have taken the shot.
Yeah.
We saw her make one in the first half. She had the time. There wasn't a defender nearby. Be a threat. She is capable. I understand that she wasn't feeling comfortable in that moment, but she has to feel comfortable in that moment.
Well, you talked about it before. Billings and Hines-Allen have to shoot some of those for Indiana. Reese lays it in. Atlanta jumps in front. Timeout, Indiana. First lead since the first quarter. Live on the ESPN app. Can't wait to hear that sit down that you had with Lisa, and we'll hear a lot of that on the pregame tomorrow.
So our great features producer, Olivia Powers, sent that clip to me, and I made the mistake of playing it when my kids could hear it, and then
boy.
it was 20 straight minutes of, what's your voice doing? What's going on there? Just nothing but ribbing from my 4 children for 20 minutes after that 20-second clip.
Canada dumps it into Reese. Shot clock at 3. Reese gets denied by Timpson emphatically.
Kayla Timpson and those long arms that time, the long arms of the law, able to get the block. She does a great job as Reese is initiating contact, standing her ground, and then just palming it right into the floor.
Here's Clark, gets fouled by Canada. By the way, for Clark, 5 assists already. That's 55 consecutive games that she has had at least 5 assists. 15 games longer than any other streak in WNBA history. You can see her mouthing to Carl Smesco challenge it. I think he thought that should have been offensive. Mitchell into the paint. Gets denied. Here's Gray. Gray meets Hines Allen and finishes. The lead is 3 for Atlanta, as they have really taken advantage of Boston on the bench in foul trouble. Clark back to Hines Allen. Hines Allen contested long too. There's no reason to take that with that much shot clock left. Gray all the way in, can't finish. Reese, her 1,000th career rebound, the fastest in WNBA history to reach that plateau. That last hits Atlanta and will stay here, but Indiana out of sorts here in this third. And Steph White gonna get Aaliyah Boston back into this game.
It's her gift. Angel Reese's gift is getting to the glass, the tenacity, the nose for it.
Cunningham rims out. Boston back in with 4 fouls, but Stephanie White could not afford to keep her on the bench any longer. Reese rims out on a 3. This building was ready to pop. And Caitlin Clark just lost the basketball out of her hands. Went to pass it to Sophie Cunningham and realized she was no longer there. You see Reese, fastest to 1,000 career rebounds in W history.
10 games faster than Tina Charles. Tina Charles was a beast on the glass.
5-point Atlanta lead. They've totally dominated this third. Foul. Hillman lost the handle. It squirms out to Howard. Howard gets a clean look from 3. A fortuitous hop, and Howard takes advantage. It's a 13-0 Atlanta run. Here's Clark into Boston. Boston got hit, no call. Gets it back. Can't lay it in, but gets the whistle. And free throws here for Aaliyah Boston.
Coming down the floor, Aaliyah Boston was looking at Caitlin Clark and making an X with her arms and saying X, X. Calling the play so she could get the ball on the block. She was determined there. You see her coming out. We're running X. We're running X. She wants the basketball. It's a simple direct entry into Aaliyah Boston on the left block. And then when you saw her miss, still went up and got the offensive board. Sometimes as a player, you're like, all right, I've had enough of this. Give me the basketball. I'm ready to do something with it.
Raven Johnson in for Timpson. So here's a version of Indiana going small. Boston at the 5, Cunningham at the 4 with Mitchell, Johnson, and Clark.
Response again to Atlanta going small as well.
Here's Pow Pow. Into the corner, Gray. No. Rebound, Boston. Clark flings it ahead as it knocked away. That's 5 turnovers in this quarter for Clark. Borlase can't finish it. Raven Johnson, a terrific job on the glass to knock it away.
And Aaliyah Boston to not get a foul. She continued to retreat on that drive.
Clark doesn't take the 3, instead drives it, dishes. Boston has it knocked away. Atlanta creating all kinds of turnovers in this quarter. And now a jump ball. Indiana has turned it over 8 times in the third.
Just the relentlessness from Atlanta, especially in this quarter. The active hands, they've been physical, they've been disruptive. An example of it here, Borlase right there. And then there's help into Caitlin Clark from Hillman, and then a recover. This is outstanding defense by Atlanta, jumping the route for Alicia Gray, and then all over the floor. You can't ask for more than what you saw in that possession.
And Clark, who really protected the basketball well in the first half, has 5 of Indiana's 8 turnovers here in the third quarter. Howard able to control it off the tip. Atlanta with a 6-point lead, 2:30 to go in the third. Howard turns the corner, can't scoop it in. Boston the rebound. Here comes Clark. Clark getting downhill in a blur will lay it in. 21 points for Caitlin Clark.
We'll see if Atlanta continues to try to attack Aaliyah Boston with that foul trouble. She's been outstanding, not allowing it.
Pow Pow again. Tahina Pow Pow is 3 of 3 from 3. 7-point Atlanta lead. She's just such an accurate 3-point shooter. Boston putting it on the deck, lays it in, puts the foul, but they will call the foul on the floor prior to the shot. On a drive, it's about whether or not the contact comes pre or post gather. And the contact, they'll say, came before the gather from Boston, and Carl Smesko wants to challenge it. He feels like it might have been offensive, and if it was, that'd be number 5 on Boston.
Felt like Aaliyah Boston has been really heady in her decision-making on the defensive end of the floor, moving her feet, keeping her hands upright, not allowing fouls to be called, including when she's had to switch out onto Ryan Howard. And then on the offensive
Atlanta
end,
is calling a full timeout to challenge the ruling on the floor.
She has been in attack mode. Carl Smesko might have an argument here, though, because it did look like when Aaliyah Boston was driving with her left hand, she kind of reaches her right one around. Curious what Lauren thinks after she takes a look. But here, Boston's left arm as it goes up, she's got the hold. Does Hillman foul first, or is it Boston who fouls first there?
All right, we're going to Anna. Yes, it would be number 5 on Boston. Foul trouble has been part of the story for the Fever this season. Boston and Clark at times finding themselves up against it.
Indiana averages just under 24 fouls a game, which is last in the league. They foul more than anyone else.
Caitlin Clark came out firing, hit her first 3 attempts from 3 in the first few minutes of the game. Has taken just 3 attempts from 3 since. Has not made them, but has been perfect inside the arc. She's 6 for 6 from 2 in this game, has 21 points.
She's gotten so much defensive attention since that hot start, and as a result, she's looking for rollers. She's looking for players who are open when she draws the extra help.
Meanwhile, for Atlanta, 17 from Howard, 17 from Hillman, 14 from Reese, 11 points for Alicia Gray. And it's just a team that should get Bree Jones back soon. The multi-time All-Star who has not done contact work yet, but Carl Smesko is telling us is a lot closer. Might do 2-on-2 with contact this coming week. Feels like it'll certainly be within the next 10 days, and then hopefully she would return shortly after that.
Upon review, the contact initiated by Hillman and Boston is both deemed to be marginal. The call on the floor has been overturned to a no call. At the time of the whistle, Indiana had the ball. They're going to get it at the low sideline with 14 on the clock.
Well, if you're Indiana, you'll take that.
Best case scenario.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because they deem both contact marginal. So no foul on Hillman, as Lauren said. She didn't think the contact from Hillman threw off the speed, quickness, balance, rhythm. I knew there was a letter I was forgetting there of Boston. And then the contact from Boston also deemed to be marginal at the time of the whistle. Atlanta has had a terrific third quarter, cooling off Indiana after the Fever put up 59 first half points. They've been held to 10 here in the third quarter. Clark trying to shake free. Here's Boston. Boston looking for help. Swings it out to Clark. Clark whips it back into Boston. The turn can't finish.
She's drawing a ton of defensive attention when she catches on the block.
Howard in transition, gives it up. Canada attacks and lays. Mitchell moved away, almost like she was worried about foul trouble. She has just 2. 9-point Atlanta lead, their largest of the day. Mitchell can't hit. Boston battling, winning. Looking for Clark, finds her on the cut, and Clark will lay it in. Beautiful pass from Aaliyah Boston, and Clark now has 23.
Seems as like there's a different intensity about Aaliyah Boston since she's come back in this game.
And that is going to be a foul on Boston. And that will be her 5th.
Was it on Clark?
They call it on Boston. And so now we will see whether or not Indiana wants to challenge this.
Ooh.
I mean, there's a push, but that feels like the kind of contact that happens.
Completely incidental.
It happens often throughout the course of a game. Kind of interesting that Indiana didn't challenge it when it was number 5 on Boston. Here's Clark firing away. Can't hit the 3. Had Canada draped all over. Knocked away by Johnson, cutting off the path. I'm a little surprised that Indiana didn't want to at least roll the dice with the challenge there. Now, Boston makes contact, but it seems...
But contact happens all the time.
Yes, exactly. It didn't seem to be enough to warrant a foul when you consider how often that kind of thing happens.
Yeah, that one surprises me.
We'll get Lauren's thoughts on it at some point here. Reese gets fouled, and Angel Reese is going to shoot 2.
Indiana foul number 25 on Reese. Her 5th personal foul. Team's on the limit.
So Reese, 16 points, 8 rebounds. And let's ask Lauren Holkamp-Sterling about that 5th foul. Lauren, what'd you think about that 5th foul call on Aaliyah? Thank you very much. So Lauren also feels like a no call, because it didn't throw anything off.
No speed, quickness, balance, or rhythm was thrown off.
Well, Raven Johnson's going a little too early here. Shot clock is turned off. Finds Cunningham. Her 3 is good. But Indiana has given Atlanta a lot of time. They went very early there. Canada drives in and banks it home. 0.8 to go. And then Canada. 10 Indiana turnovers in that third quarter alone, after Indiana had done a pretty good job protecting the ball in that first half. They hold Indy to a season low for a third quarter, 15 points, after Indy had scored a season high for a half, 59 in the first half, and a season high for a first quarter. Gray got bumped, and the foul called on Johnson. Gray will go to the line.
Teresa Weatherspoon's in the Hall of Fame. She played in that first game.
Yep.
I'm still thinking about that. But this is what
Let's check in with Angel Gray for a little more on Jordan Canada. What a role played in this run from Atlanta.
Well, Ryan, I honestly wanted to know the future Hall of Famers that Rebecca was talking about. We'll revisit that. But just going back to what Atlanta was able to do in that third quarter, it goes significantly with Jordan Canada making a defensive assignment switch on guarding Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark had 5 turnovers in that quarter, the most of any quarter she's had in her career. She looked in the huddle and told Carl, I want her. Ryan Howard was a primary defender before that series, and she's been able to really set the tone defensively for this team.
And it's been an effort by the whole team. You just felt their intensity on the defensive end ramp up in that quarter. And Jordan Canada, the impact she's had, she is the best plus-minus of anybody on the team with her 8 points and 10 assists so far.
And again, I mean, not securing the glass off a missed free throw for Indiana. Offensive rebounds, huge part of what Atlanta does. Damiris Duntus, who hasn't been a fixture in the rotation, getting minutes here for Indiana. Boston and Billings have been in foul trouble. Pow, can't hit. Rebound again, Reese a factor, and then a foul. Going to keep things here as Reese hit the deck. And once again, Atlanta forces another look.
Ryan, about a week and a half ago, we were calling the Atlanta game in Chicago. As you see Angel Reese here going up. Oh, lands a little bit as Kelsey Mitchell's right there and causes her to lose her footing. Chicago spent quite a bit of time in their shoot-around working on sending 2 bodies.
Howard buries the 3, and Atlanta has opened it up to 13.
Practicing sending 2 bodies to box out Angel Reese. I mean, that's the kind of attention she is going to get because of her relentlessness on the board.
And she pokes it away from Mitchell. Borlays, Howard. No. Does Indiana have a push left in them? Plenty of time remaining. Atlanta has dominated this second half. Boston on the bench in foul trouble. Clark on the drive, gets hooked. And fouled by Howard. Clark, 10 of 14 from the floor, has 23 points. 5 assists, got off to an incredible start. Has turned it over here in this second half as Angel detailed with Jordan Canada taking the defensive assignment, and Canada going to come back in for Atlanta.
And immediately pushes Howard off of Clark and says, I got her.
Here's Mitchell. Mitchell on the drive, denied by Reese.
Angel Reese right there tracking Mitchell the whole way, smacking the ball out of bounds cleanly.
Mitchell didn't take the 3, gives it up. Johnson can't knock it down. And that'll bounce out to Atlanta.
Last time these teams played in the fourth quarter a couple of days ago, Fever were able to make a push in the fourth quarter and tie it after being down 8. We'll see if they have a run in them here.
Canada 8 points, 10 assists, no turnovers. Canada, the 2-time champ, flings it up, can't finish. Duntus secures the rebound. Here is Raven Johnson. Canada on her at the moment. Lobs it in, Cunningham gets called for the offensive foul. Yeah, she was jockeying with Pow Pow. And Stephanie White has a perplexed look on her face. And a tee has been assessed to Cunningham as well.
Cunningham trying to post up. She's wrapped by Pow Pow there. A little bit surprised.
Now, did she have her with the left arm?
I don't know.
"24 personal fouls called against Indiana in this one, 18 against Atlanta.
Let's see if she wraps her first. Oh, is she holding it? She's
her
grabbing
arm.
her arm. Okay,
Yep.
absolutely the right call.
Yep,
she's got her
grabbing
hand
her left arm.
grabbing Pow Pow's arm. Yes, that's a great angle right there. That's the right call. Yeah.
See that? Grabbing the wrist of Pow Pow.
Let's It's not consensual post up inside there.
Indy with just 9 points over the last 9 minutes. Gray gets free. It is all dream here at State Farm. A 16-point lead for Atlanta. Team to watch. 90-74. Atlanta is holding front with a huge second half. Clark curling around. Canada knocks it away. She's been tremendous defensively on Clark in the second half. Clark gets some space, doesn't take. Johnson will, and hit from three.
Raven Johnson has looked really comfortable on both ends of the floor here in this game. Nice homecoming for that rookie.
Atlanta's outscored Indiana 34-18 in the second half after Indiana put up 59 in the first half. Reese with 16 and 8. Gray can't answer. Johnson the rebound. Johnson busting it up the floor. Working behind Duntis. Cunningham with space. She'll let it fly. No. Duntis the board, the putback and the foul. And now Indiana fired up saying, let's go. Got a little something cooking over these last two possessions.
A rare offensive board here for the Indiana Fever. Duntis just right there, reaches over, and one opportunity.
You mentioned it before, Indiana made a push like this on Thursday after they trailed by 8, tied it before Atlanta pulled away down the stretch. Angel Reese had a huge and one. One thing to keep an eye on as Mitchell gets a breather at 31 minutes. Clark is at 30 and has not sat in the second half. Boston remains on the bench with 5 fouls. Canada, 8 points, 11 assists, no turnovers. Reese working Duntis, and a whistle against Duntis. And free throws here for Angel Reese. She's 2 of 4 from the line today.
And a really efficient outing so far for Angel Reese. 7 for 14 on the day. She's navigated the paint well.
Can I put you on the spot a little bit, big picture?
Maybe.
All right, first I'm going to do a promo, all right? You're safe for the moment. Taking a look at the he's in, leans, doesn't get the whistle or the make. Here comes Howard, 12-point game. Clark jogging back. Clark trying to front Reese, and that's going to be an offensive foul on Reese. I was just going to ask you about these two teams and where they may need something or how they stack up against, let's say, Minnesota, Vegas, and New York.
I think Atlanta, as they're constructed right now, is a championship contender because keep in mind they're also getting Bree Jones back. You know, a multi-time All-Star who can do a lot of things for them. I think the question when you look at the Indiana Fever.
Clark gets blocked by Gray. It'll stay right here. What a defensive play by Gray.
The help side is coming over on the back cut by Caitlin Clark. Gray just hangs and uses her strong left hand to block the shot.
And then Hillman comes up with the rejection. Gray lines it up. You bet! Cunningham gets a clean look. Can't knock it down. And a foul called will stay here as Reese gets whistled for the personal, her third.
On the other end, Alicia Gray just stepping in. No defender around. Beautiful lefty stroke. Sees it goes through.
Check that. That's number 5 on Angel Reese. And I believe they're going to take a look to see whether or not...
The previous personal foul on Angel Reese is under review for a possible upgrade.
Yeah, possible hostile act. I know eventually you'll get to the rest of that answer. Yeah, I think there's a chance. All it has to be is unnecessary contact. They'll look at whether or not there's any kind of wind-up, follow-through.
Impact, there's all those things there. I think you're going to see it get upgraded.
All right, let's quickly check in with Lauren just to see. Lauren, do you think this gets upgraded?
Yeah, I think it very possibly can. Yeah, I think you see contact above the shoulders. There is wind up and there is impact. And, you know, this. Yeah, and you see the angle there. I mean, there's a flail there. So, yes, I think that this will get upgraded. I expect it to.
All right, thank you, Lauren. Appreciate that. That would be, if it gets upgraded to a flagrant foul, penalty 1. You had 2 shots in the ball. You also could assess a T.
Upon review, the contact initiated by Angel Reese has wind-up, impact, non-basketball play, and potential for injury. The play has been upgraded to a flagrant foul, penalty 1. Dantas will shoot 2 free throws, plus possession, new 24 on the clock.
Well, if Indiana is going to have a shot at a run here in this fourth, this would be the moment. Getting 2 shots and the ball with 5:49 to go in the fourth quarter.
You would imagine Leah Boston coming back into on the floor as well.
All right, let's answer the Aflac trivia question. 5 fouls. 4th time she's had 5 this year. She has not fouled out in a game as Dantas misses the free throw. Indiana 13 of 16 from the line. Reese has had another really productive game, 18 points, 8 rebounds. Wow. Dantas misses both.
And we were talking earlier about, you know, what Indiana might need more. They need more from their post players, not named Leah Boston. You know, what is that going to be? Is that going to be scoring? Is that going to be a rebounding, facilitating? That's one of the things Hines Allen brings, but they're going to need more production out of that spot.
Clark on the drive into the paint, separates and spins it in. 25 points for Caitlin Clark. We've seen the way that roster deficiency has hindered Indiana at times this year, just not having a 4 who can space. Here's Gray. Dribbled it off her foot. Canada fades away and drops it in. Jordan Canada, a double-double today. 10 points and 12 assists.
She's gotten really good at using that spin and fade over taller defenders.
Boston knocks in a 3. She's taking them with no hesitation. 13 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists for Aaliyah Boston. Borlaise gives it up. Gray has 16, muscles in and finishes. Atlanta's guards are just so good. Howard, Canada, and Gray. Boston directing traffic. And they're gonna call defensive 3 seconds. Caitlin Clark was asking for it. Finally gets it.
We've seen the skill set of Alicia Gray here, driving to the left side, using strength right here. Holes right there, doesn't matter, able to finish. Seen her hit 3s, just so tough on the offensive end.
Just the 2nd free throw attempt today for Clark, who knocks it in. 26 points, a game high for Caitlin Clark, as Mitchell will come and get Johnson. 4:30 to go. Clark yet to sit in this second half. Indiana in a stretch where they're playing every other day. They'll go back to work on Monday. Boston off to Mitchell, gets fouled by Howard. That'll be the 4th team foul on Atlanta and the 5th on Ryan Howard. Ty Harris gave Indiana good minutes in the 4th quarter on Thursday. Clark on the move, dives in and missed the lay. (11 of 18 from the floor for Clark. Howard cups it home. Will they count the bucket? They will not.
Just bouncing through the lane, gets the ball, just so good with the Euro.
They did count the bucket.
I was gonna say they should. Wow, what a finish on that by Howard.
And a chance for 3 for Ryan Howard. Some initial confusion as to whether or not they did. On ESPN2, Seattle-Phoenix has begun. We will join that game on ABC as soon as this one is finished. Here's Boston. Boston powering in, dishing out. Home can't hit, but a tough year from 3 for Lexi Hull. That was her first shot attempt of the day. Hillman bangs in. We're going to get around. Clark does plus the foul, and that's the dagger. 18 and counting the lead for Atlanta.
Caitlin Clark does a good job initially defending here, but Naz Hillman was not going to be denied. Just steps through finish. Caitlin swiping. Caitlin looked like she was determined to get a foul called on that possession, and Howard makes sure she does. Or Hillman makes sure she does, and beautiful finish.
Hillman with 19 points. Her career high is 21. Clark goes to the bench for the first time this half. I think her day is likely done. Got off to such an electrifying start. Indiana's offense was in incredible rhythm, but Atlanta's defense this second half has been so active. Forced 12 second half turnovers, 10 of them in the third quarter, of them from Clark. As Canada's defense, the difference. Canada, why not? Timeout, Stephanie White. Atlanta has put up 106 with nearly 3 minutes still to play. 7. Atlanta has outscored Indiana in the second half, thanks in large part to that. Just the activity defensively has been remarkable.
The deflections, steals, block shots, pokes. Atlanta's active hands. They cause more turnovers. They have more steals than any other teams in the WNBA.
Angel?
Preseason, Ryan Howard said to the media that last year they went back and watched the film and said we were the best defensive team for 90% of the game until the end, where we felt like we were the worst defensive team in the league. The consistency had to be built in training camp. Carl Smesko said that is the foundation and it is a non-negotiable. Across the board, this team says they have to buy into that department. Offense will come. 3 consecutive games where they've scored 100 or more. I think the offense is there.
They're buying what he's selling when it comes to their intensity on the defensive end, Angel.
Johnson off to Dundas. Can't hit the 3. Indiana was so hot from 3 early. Hit 9 in the first half, just 3 here in the second half. What you like about Atlanta, too, projecting ahead as a contender, to the playoffs, is they have 2 elite players to put the ball in the hands of and say, go make a play.
Yeah.
In Gray and Howard.
And to a degree, a third with Canada, because you can just say, go make a play for someone else.
Yeah.
And it's okay if the shot doesn't go in, because we're going to be all over the offensive glass. They have nice depth again. Bree Jones yet to return. She's just going to add to that. Pow Pow's terrific today.
Yeah. A really strong guard off the bench. She was telling us before the game how much she loves being here in Atlanta. There's another circumstance of missed free throws where Indiana doesn't secure the rebound. As Pow will check in.
It was interesting when we had the interview with Naz Hillman in the first half, and she said, they're aware when the opponent only gets the rebound with one hand.
Yep.
If they don't have 2 hands on it, they're going to still try to poke and secure the ball.
Want to remind everybody, special presentation of WNBA basketball tomorrow night on ESPN. We will have the 30th anniversary game between the Sparks and the Liberty. 8 Eastern tip for that. Our first Women's Sports Sunday franchise we're really excited about at ESPN and debut tomorrow. The following week in that time slot, we'll have the Liberty and the Valkyries out in the Bay.
2 great games
For this Indiana-Atlanta matchup. The 110 points for Atlanta. They've scored at least 103 straight games. And a foul here on Gray will get her out of the game. Clark really protected the ball early, not so much late, was efficient offensively throughout with 26 points on 11 of 18 shooting, also had 7 assists. Gray checks out, 22 points for her on 9 of 18 shooting. Canada 12 points, 12 assists, and 7 rebounds. Howard with 24 points. Naz Hillman 19, and Angel Reese 18 points, 8 rebounds, and became the fastest player to 1,000 rebounds in her career. Hines Allen comes away with it. Here's Raven. Raven Johnson with a nice take and serves it in. 9 points for the local product, Raven Johnson, and then knocks it out of bounds. A reminder, we will join Seattle and Phoenix next year on ABC. That game has already started on ESPN2. That 3 won't go. Okot, the rebound.
It's just a culture of offensive rebounding here in Atlanta. It doesn't matter who's in the game.
Incredible. Kone gives it up. And that's good as well. India Navarre into the game and promptly buries a 3. $113 points for Atlanta, and they can now, they could have dribbled it out, didn't secure it. Cunningham gets hit, and we'll have a chance for 4.